worthwhile to share at least what you know now, because while people are here, you know, they really
for sure. You know what I mean? Like I said, like I mean, it was. I haven't, you know, like I mean, the bubble maps. I don't know why it's showing like, you know, if it's showing like 12 holders or whatever it is. Like, but like, you know, we distributed.
Hey, way to explain it. I don't know why it's lying.
How many?
I'll have to investigate why it's lying.
I mean, like I said.
Sad part is crypto bros probably think they're telling the truth. I can promise you, I think even the most delusional would look at this and listen to this and be like, oh my God. Oh my God, what have I done?
I'm actually pretty stoked to play Hacienda. I'm a huge BO6 fan. Sorry, BO4 fan and BO6. BO4. Embarrassing to say, everyone probably thinks I was been gods from the start, but BO4 was my first Call of Duty game. An ancient fuck. Right back.
Investors, you know, like
if they're not gonna bring coffee back, I'm just gonna leave. This is nothing. This is just actually nothing. This is this man talking in circles with a list.
Tried our best to curate.
Haley did it. You know, her team, little shady. I don't think they've done a good job of explaining this. But Haley, man, how can you even be mad at her at the end of the day, right? She said she's having fun. And that's all she said. And what else do you need at the end of the day, huh? You know what I mean? So yeah, you lost a lot of money. You got rugged. Fucking Hawk Tua spit on that thing. Am I fucking right? You go again. You buy the dip. So that way herd investors can make some more too. Holy. Again, if you bought into this expecting to make money on it, you're a fucking idiot in the first place, to be fair. Putting money into a Hawk Tua coin. Christ. Hawk Tua coin was 100% unlocked on launch. That always will rug if you have people buying in with zero unlock. This team pre-sold tokens for millions and then are crying that they didn't sell and blame it. Oh, nice. I don't think there's anyone in the world that actually believes the developers here. Like, I don't even think the most delusional of like crypto bro would find anything that they said compelling. So I feel like this is one of the very few cases where people are like, oh, that was just a complete scam from the get-go, which I feel like people should have been able to know immediately with the Hawk Tua girl making a fucking crypto. This is some Jack Doherty shit. It is. It is actual Jack Doherty shit, except hers is somehow even more egregious. Oh yeah, I'm surprised they were even doing that call in the first place. Usually when it comes to a big rug like this, the people just vanish. Meanwhile, those two goofballs were somehow taking it in a Twitter space, pretending that it wasn't a scam. So, I mean, they talked about innovation. That is an innovative new strategy to rug pulling. Usually they just disappear. I wonder if she even knows what crypto is. I can say with at least 85% confidence, Haley Welch just learned what Solana was a week ago. After this space, when CoffeeZilla eventually got kicked from the Twitter space, he started his own to explain to everyone exactly how this rug pull worked. He explains it far better than I ever could, and it's actually a lot more intricate than I thought it was for a rug pull. There were more moving parts to it, and even more nefarious, scummy dog shit that was happening behind the scenes that CoffeeZilla highlights. So it's more than just like the simple pump.fun rug pull we've been seeing a lot, like with Jack Doherty. This was a full red alert, DEFCON, premeditated, malicious rug pull that aimed to scam the shit out of people. Now, I do believe most of the victims here were basically just people that gamble on things like this, like meme and shit coins. I don't think a lot of like Hawk Tua enthusiasts, you know, all of a sudden set up a wallet to participate in the Hawk Tua coin. I imagine it's most people that were gambling on it. But even still, her scamming this many people and making this much money, her and the team, I guess I can't say her for sure because maybe she personally didn't make a ton of money, but a lot of people behind the scenes did, and CoffeeZilla explains how much and where things were going and how it all worked.
Let me start with something really basic that most people need to understand about what they're doing, the little switch they're doing. They keep telling you guys, and everybody's falling for it, with this strategic advisor grift, okay? They put 3% into the public DEX. Meanwhile, they pre-sold in these SAFs at like, I think they said a over $10 million valuation. I'll have to have somebody correct me on that. But over a $10 million valuation. So they pre-sold these tokens. Why do you think people bought these tokens? They knew that they could rug because they told people, well, there's no unlock. So if there's no unlock for pre-sold tokens and you think it's going to launch because you got this girl who's going to use her brand and use her popularity to all of a sudden pump up this coin, there's no unlock, you're going to dump into this. So two things happen at the same time. There's a lot of confusion about it, but two things happen. One, you have a sniper who jumped in at the very beginning, minutes after launch, because they tweeted out the contract address like idiots, like amateurs. Actually, the dot guy said they knew it was going to get sniped, which is crazy. I think that would be criminal if it's true. You know your thing's going to get sniped and you launch it anyways, but whatever. So they get sniped. That guy walks out with millions of dollars. But then they put fees on top of that. They put a 15% fee on the deck. So guess who's raking in the money?
Feels good.
Not Haley.
Tried to ask,
Can't be Haley.
Haley said our foundation made it in the Cayman Islands. We wanted to obey the law, so we left the United States. We went to the Cayman Islands. Everyone knows that's how you obey the law. You go to the Cayman Islands. So they went to the Cayman Islands, and their 15% fee supposedly goes there.
That's true. We did hear them say that.
So they made millions of dollars right off the jump, even before they didn't even quote. They knew it was going to snipe. This sniper made millions. They made millions, and then they pre-sold for millions. Okay, everyone follow me so far? Then you have strategic advisors who are dumping on retail, and they're making millions.
Alpha.
Who's making nothing? Well, it's everyone else.
Sniper threat neutralized.
If you were born prior to the mid-90s, you likely remember when the entertainment industry was severely gatekept, a time where if you wanted to be on a television show, you had to audition for a talent agent, then acquire a script, go to an open call, be selected for a follow-up audition, then audition for the casting director, then audition for the actual director, go through a chemistry reading, work through negotiations, and only then would you potentially have the chance at being the lead in a show. So many things would have to go right for you to begin to get the chance to be a minor celebrity that when someone made it, it felt special. Even when they only acted in daytime soap operas or the list of credits was small, they had gained some modicum of success, which they could actively point to down the road. And because there were so many hoops to jump through to gain any bit of success, the benefits felt greater. The same was true of the music and modeling industry, as they were strictly controlled, usually by men and women who used the power they had over their wards to exploit them. Though this case is not technically about that, we would be remiss not to mention that those in power often wielded that power irresponsibly. See our videos on Phil Spector, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and Victor Salva for further examples. They had worked extremely hard, likely put up with horrendous conditions, and done things that they weren't proud of, and likely gained a fair bit of trauma themselves. But at least they had gotten what they wanted. However, social media and sites like YouTube have successfully disrupted the industry, both for better and for worse. On one hand, you have creatives using these platforms to make content that they wanted to see themselves, and garnering a significant audience all around the world. Creators like Danny and Michael Philippou were able to post their content on YouTube for years, building a significant fan base while earning a hefty income, which they used to create one of the best horror films that has come out in decades. Talk to Me. Singers like Justin Bieber and Halsey had used social media in the same way, and writer-director Quinta Bronson got her start posting sketch videos for her social media, as well as for BuzzFeed. These platforms have allowed anyone to become famous, and in turn has resulted in some of the most interesting art. At the same time, these platforms have been used in order to call out negative behavior behind the scenes and allow for creatives to have a voice when they see injustice in the industry. Previously, if someone was exploited on a film set, they could try to speak out about what occurred, but there was no real avenue to do so. They could try to talk to a reporter, but the moment the studio would be asked to comment on it, the story would be killed, and the publication would likely see a tremendous payout. The majority of people would never learn of their claims, and they would have no avenue to try and get the word out themselves. That actor would be blacklisted, smeared in the media, and be labeled as difficult to work with. But with platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, they could speak up for themselves without fear of being silenced. But when anyone can be famous for anything, there are obviously no barriers for entry. Then you get people like Ali Abulaban.
He says he and Anna grew apart after they settled in San Diego. He blames the move and their lifestyle choices for ruining their marriage.
That was part of the downfall because my wife, Martha, she wanted me to move her out here to a life where there's typical Tuesday.
partied too much. But when we spoke to Anna's childhood friend and Ali's cousin, they painted a different picture.
He's a bad guy. There's nothing good about him. He's selfish. That's all I can say, selfish.
Pulls out like a full bag of cocaine, not like a little bag, a big bag. And we're like, what the hell? You know, are you trying to get us all in trouble? He goes, I'm Jin Kid. I could do whatever I want. Nobody can touch me. I'm Jin Kid, you know?
Heads down. Sniper working.
Slapping. Slapping Anna. Controlling Bravo.
I would never do that in public. I never did that.
In the end, the judge sentenced Abulaban to the maximum, life without parole, plus an additional 50 years to life for using a gun.
The bottom line here is he will die in prison. He will never be a free man. He will take his last breath there. Please.
Family.
Welcome back to another episode of Dreading, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today we are going to be reviewing the case of Anna Abulaban, a Rayburn Cardenas Baron, and how her famous husband attempted to get away with murder. This case occurred relatively recently, but we cannot emphasize just how many requests we've had to cover this in the past few months. I am hesitant to say that this is our most requested video. However, on last checking, we received a little over 300 emails where viewers like you asked us to talk about this case and review his time on the stand. As always, if there's a case you would like to see covered, or a story you wish to bring more attention to, let us know by emailing us at dreading.official@gmail.com. We go through our emails daily, sorting our requests, and adding more to our list of stories to cover, with the ultimate goal of filling every suggestion sent in. It may take us some time, but our hope is to provide you with all the content you want to see, thoughtfully and respectfully. This video, like so many others we've made, deals with domestic violence, and as such, if you are sensitive to that material, I would recommend that you click off the video now to preserve your own mental well-being. Our videos are often rightfully demonetized by YouTube due to our unwillingness to change our speech, and there is no watch time metric that is worth putting yourself in a compromising position. This warning, of course, is only as useful as you allow it to be, so proceed with caution. I also want to state up front that reporting around significant aspects of this case has been sparse, and what there is can be contradictory. We'll do our best to notate when the information that we were given is up for debate or when it is agreed upon, but if you are familiar with this case, then you probably have already seen how the reporting has changed over time. So, with all of that said, let us begin. Ali Abulaban was born May 25th, 1992 in Staten Island, New York. His family was Middle Eastern, and he grew up as a first-generation Muslim American, which he described as making his childhood incredibly difficult. His father was extremely demanding of Ali, repeatedly telling the young boy he should be Muslim before anything else, and emotionally, verbally, and physically abusing him whenever he was to step out of line. According to Ali, all he wanted to do was fit in with his peers, to be seen as normal and cool in their eyes, but every time he did, he was punished severely by his father. If he were to act too Muslim with his peers, he'd be ridiculed and isolated, made to feel as if something was deeply wrong with him for not being more like them. But if he were to act too much like them, his father would lash out at him violently. He was under an absurd amount of pressure as a child, and things would only get worse after the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Over time, he became riddled with social anxiety, feeling as if he could do nothing right. And during this time, he would begin to watch movies as a form of escapism. He would watch certain movies on repeat, memorizing the lines and turning around and acting them out, even when no one was there. Though his life was tough, he would fantasize about his future, how he would become famous one day, and have everything he ever wanted. Money, power, beautiful women, it was all in his future. He just needed to find a way to make it happen. As Ali grew up, the abuse began to escalate with his age. This is not atypical of abusive parents and guardians, especially when they are abusing their male children. As the child begins to age and come into their own as an adult, the parent tends to see them as more of a threat. They realize that the child that they have spent over a decade hurting is no longer an easy target and could retaliate if they wanted to. Instead of changing their behavior, they lash out even more violently against their victim to keep them from realizing their own strength. Wanting to escape the violent home life that he had been raised in, Ali would join the United States Air Force. Although he faced a significant amount of racist abuse from his peers, with even his direct superiors calling him a terrorist for being Middle Eastern, it was a massive improvement in Ali's eyes. He began to make friends for the first time and developed a comedic style that his peers seemed to love. He would do impressions, make jokes at his own expense, and became the life of the party. But he similarly began to display more controlling behaviors. When things didn't go his way, or when a friend did something he didn't like, Ali would throw tantrums like a child. If he viewed someone as acting against his best interest, even if it was for something as small as them not remembering something he had told them, he would begin to sincerely believe that they were his enemy. He'd feel justified in verbally abusing them, the same way his father had done to him, and would even strike them in order to punish them, so to speak. He was extremely emotionally immature, and would begin to mirror his father's negative behaviors. In his mind, what his father had done to him was wrong, but when he would do it to others, it was perfectly justified. Ali seemed to develop an aversion to negativity that was so strong, he would regularly lash out at anyone who made him feel bad, no matter if they were technically responsible for it. If you brought Ali bad news, like saying that he couldn't go to the movie theater because it was shut down for renovations, he would get upset. But instead of moving on with his day, and realizing that nothing could be done and it wasn't your fault because you didn't shut down the movie theater, he would insult you and belittle you and try to hurt you the way that he felt you hurt him. The people around Ali at this time would describe the man as being charismatic and charming, but being volatile. And then he met Anna.
Contact down.
Anna was a year younger than Ali and was born in 1993 in the Philippines. Her father was in the military, and when she was younger, he'd been stationed in Okinawa, Japan. Those who knew Anna throughout her life would describe her as being a bright, kind-hearted person. She was extremely popular and charming in her own right, but had the ability to make almost everyone feel included. Multiple of her friends throughout her life would describe how she would go out of her way to make sure they felt loved and cared for, usually by planning some big get-together. She never wanted people to feel alone, so every birthday, graduation, anniversary, or milestone, she was present, with a gift and a party to let her friends know how much they were loved at the big shindig. She was also extremely intelligent, having obtained a science degree from the Technological University of the Philippines, and also obtained a master's degree. People in her life would often downplay her intelligence, but it was something that she was extremely proud of. She would be described as being funny, smart, compassionate, and just an altogether well-rounded person. Men in particular were extremely drawn to Anna due to her beauty, and that was especially true of Ali. When he had met Anna, he was obsessed with her. He talked about her constantly, even before they were dating. He would describe her as being the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, and how they needed to be together. He liked other qualities about her, but those closest to him at the time would state that he was obsessed with her looks, and how good they would look together. From the moment he'd met Anna, he was focused on her. He would go out of his way to bump into her and spend time with her, and she was flattered by the attention. He treated her like she was the most important thing in his world, and his sole focus was on making her happy. Some reports indicate that while she was attracted to Ali, she didn't immediately share his romantic feelings, wanting to keep their relationship platonic. But Ali wouldn't accept that, and as time went on, he became more and more present in her life. Soon, they were spending almost all of their time together, and finally decided to become a couple. Things were great at first. Ali continued to shower Anna with attention and treat her like a goddess. He would tell her that she was the most amazing woman, that he was so lucky to have her by his side, and that he would do anything for her. Though he was prone to throw tantrums when he didn't get his way, Anna thought it was just a slight drawback to an otherwise perfect relationship. But then, things began to change. After a few months of dating, Ali's mask completely dropped. As previously mentioned, Anna was extremely outgoing and spent a significant amount of time with her friends. She prided herself on her long-term friendships and would tell Ali as much. She loved him, but she didn't want to isolate herself away from the people she had grown up with, and would go so far as to integrate Ali into her friend group. At first, Ali made an effort with Anna's friends, but right away, they felt uneasy about him. A number of her friends would state that when they first met Ali, something felt off about him, and fake. He wouldn't do anything overt in front of them, but they felt an underlying tension whenever they were out together, as if he was trying to not appear angry or holding back his real feelings. They also noticed he seemed to be controlling their friend, always saying something negative about what she was doing. If she ordered a drink he didn't like, he'd change her order. If she ordered a burger, he'd change it to a salad, and so on. And if they were to comment on it, he would seem genuinely upset with them. When they brought their concerns to Anna, she hand-waved them. She acknowledged that her boyfriend was controlling and had the tendency to want her all to himself, but she said that they had nothing to worry about. Ali was a great guy, and he just needed to see the man that she knew. But behind the scenes, things were much worse than they realized. In his mind, Anna wanting to spend any time with someone else was a sign that she didn't really love him, and her insistence on maintaining friendships was a negative quality he needed to train out of her. It was a sign that she wasn't serious about the relationship and was going to leave him. When she would try to go out, even if it was with all of her girlfriends, even if he couldn't do anything with her, even if her only other alternative was sitting at home alone, he would scream at her. He'd accuse her of cheating or trying to leave him, and it didn't matter what she said in response. He'd break her possessions and threaten her and do whatever he could to try to intimidate her into compliance. Anna would downplay the abuse to her friends, saying that Allie wasn't really all that bad, but things would only get worse. There are two stories, both of which seem to be true, that exemplify this. The first was that one night, Anna and Allie joined her friends to go clubbing. She was still trying to get them to get along, show her friends that Allie wasn't the controlling, potentially abusive boyfriend they thought he was. But then he began to get irritated. He wanted to leave and go back home, but Anna wanted to stay. He would say that he asked Anna to leave, calmly, because he wanted to go home and talk to her alone, that he simply wanted to spend time with his girlfriend, and that her friends were being aggressive with him, saying that he was being some ne'er-do-well and a party pooper, and they were having a fun time. He would then assault this friend. This instance was witnessed by multiple people. On another night out, a significant number of people would witness Allie slap Anna in the face, again because she wouldn't follow his instructions. Later, while on the stand, Allie would deny this claim, saying, quote, "I would never hit her in public," unquote. Both of these instances have been quoted as being the reason he was dishonorably discharged from the Air Force. The couple would then travel to the Philippines to spend time with Anna's family, at which point they would find out that she was pregnant. Some reports state that Anna had been thinking about leaving Allie prior to finding out that she was pregnant, that she no longer wanted to be in the relationship and was getting ready to leave him. But once she found out that she was pregnant, she felt as if the child would be best served with two parents. The couple quickly got engaged, and Allie returned to the United States with a plan in place. He was going to get a job, move out of his parents' home, and work on getting Anna a visa so that their daughter would be born in the U.S. Allie was able to quickly obtain a high-paying job in IT, but the process of getting his fiancée citizenship was a lot harder than he initially thought, and by the time they were able to get Anna to the U.S., their daughter Amira had already been born. When Anna and Amira moved to the U.S., reportedly, everything was great. However, the only source of that information is Allie, who now had Anna all to himself. She had no friends, no family, no support system in the U.S., and was completely under Allie's abusive thumb. If she wanted to do anything for herself, it was heavily controlled, and he was constantly belittling her, accusing her of cheating for wanting to spend any time away from him, and things would only get worse. In 2018, Allie would begin uploading content to TikTok under the name Jin Kid. He would create sketches showing off his comedic skills and gained a significant amount of notoriety by impersonating Tony Montana from the movie Scarface and mimicking NPCs from Skyrim. It wasn't groundbreaking content by any means, but TikTok's algorithm is deliberately designed to make users go viral within the first few uploads, meaning that Allie quickly found a fan base. People loved his content, and due to the nature of social media comments, were extremely hyperbolic in their praise of him. Videos where he pretended to be Tony Montana working as a Starbucks barista would be met with people stating he was the funniest guy on the app, that he should actually try to pursue acting, and that he was solely responsible for helping them deal with their depression. And while these comments can be found on any social media star's page and should never really be taken seriously, Allie did. He thought after years of fielding racist comments from his peers in school and in the Air Force, after dealing with his father's abuse and dealing with Anna not blindly obeying him, he'd finally found his calling. People were finally seeing how smart, hot, and talented he was, and when a fan made a poster of him as Tony Montana for a fictional prequel, he took it seriously. In his mind, he was talented and destined to transcend TikTok, and he was on his way to becoming a true Hollywood star. Anna would help Allie make these TikToks, and eventually would be featured in them herself, and people began to idolize the couple based on their content. They were careful to keep any of their issues off social media, and Anna herself would rarely post anything about her personal life. After some time and a significant amount of convincing, Anna was able to take a trip up to San Diego, where some of her friends had moved to. She had been on her own in Virginia, and having time away from Allie made her realize just how lonely she had been. After a week away, she returned to Virginia and told her husband that she wanted to move, which he almost immediately agreed to. In his mind, moving to San Diego meant moving to LA, which meant that he could properly pursue his career. Though he was still only doing TikTok impressions in little bits, He thought that when he moved, everything would fall into place for him. Producers and filmmakers would see him, immediately see his star potential, and he'd become a celebrity overnight. So the family packed up and moved across the country, but things would go from bad to worse. As Ali continued to go viral, he began to feel as if he were actually a celebrity. When Anna tried to introduce him to her friends in San Diego, he would ask them repeatedly if they already knew who he was. Oh, brother. And if they were only pretending to not know him because they didn't want to appear weird. He would ask to be called by his username, Gin Kid, and when someone would laugh at the prospect, he would throw a tantrum, accusing them of trying to make him look bad. Yeah, because he needs their fucking help to do that. Ali and Anna would also begin to use cocaine. Anna would use the drug recreationally when she was out clubbing and away from home, but Ali would use it all the time, even in front of their daughter. Worse still, he was convinced that his drug use unlocked his acting abilities, and that he was famous enough to use his drugs in public without raising suspicions. On at least one occasion, he brought out a small baggie of cocaine while out to dinner at a nice restaurant, and when he was told to
thought he was
put it away
actually
by his
Scarface.
friends, he responded that it was alright because he was Gin Kid. His affinity for guns, of course, also increased, and he would reportedly bring weapons with him everywhere as a show of force. If he felt like he was being disrespected or talked down to, he would pull out his gun, show that it was loaded, and threaten to kill the other person. If they backed down, he would then laugh, saying it was just a joke, and he was simply pretending to be Tony Montana, and accuse them of being too sensitive. He would do this constantly, and it didn't matter if there were children present. Now, once again surrounded by friends who cared for her, Anna seemed to realize that the relationship was not working. She was no longer isolated, and when her friends encouraged her to leave Ali, she was more receptive to it. Ali's abuse got more brazen, and he would strike her in front of their friends, now feeling as if his social media fame made him completely untouchable. What the fuck? Can you imagine? No, it's okay I hit my girlfriend because I was in Smosh the Musical. Fuck off. But if she went out with her friends by herself, he would call her constantly, leaving angry voice messages and telling her that she was literally killing him. He would accuse her of cheating, say she didn't love him, say she was a terrible mother, and threaten to end his life and their child's life if she didn't return home. Her friends would describe how whenever she would go out, it was always a ticking clock on how long it would be before she would break down and return home, and how there was nothing they could do to stop it. One of the friends who witnessed this was Rayburn Barron. Rayburn, who also went by Ray, was a part of Anna's friend group and had a pretty significant crush on her when they first met. Again, Anna was beautiful, but she was also kind, and men were drawn to her, even when she didn't share their feelings. When Ray met Anna and Ali, he would make the mistake of telling Ali that he was lucky to be in a relationship with such a wonderful woman, and that immediately upset him. He felt particularly territorial of Anna after that, and constantly accused her of cheating with Ray, even when nothing had been going on. But as Anna began to pull away from the relationship, her and Ray would grow closer. He would tell her that she was a good mother, that she deserved more than what Ali was doing to her, and he would provide her any of the space she needed to vent her frustrations. We should also note that Ali did cheat on Anna throughout the entire relationship, both with people he knew personally and escorts that he purchased for himself. He would state that he loved Anna, but because of his celebrity and his libido, it was unfair that he would be told that he couldn't sleep with other women, because he was a famous TikTok star after all. He was also of the mindset that Anna should not be given the same pass. Ali's behavior continued to get worse as his coke use escalated, and he became insanely paranoid. He realized that Anna was pulling away from him, that her friends were telling her to leave him, and instead of changing his behavior and treating her better, he began to record her without her knowledge. He felt like if he did this, he could properly showcase how terrible she was to him and expose her, even though the recordings are filled with him verbally and physically abusing her. Anna would repeatedly tell Ali to leave, that she no longer wanted to be with him on these recordings, that she was tired of how he treated her and more, and in response, Ali would boast about how hot he was, so hot right now, and how he was famous on TikTok, and how he could get any woman he wanted. He told her that she was ungrateful, stupid, and completely ignorant to how amazing he was. She would agree and then tell him to leave. Anna was completely checked out of the relationship and told Ali as much, but he didn't seem to realize that fact. In the 3 months leading up to the murders, Anna had stopped masking the abuse and had called the police 9 times. On one occasion, she ran to the neighbor's house to ask them to call the police, as Ali had taken her phone, but each time they were called, he wasn't arrested. This left him feeling untouchable, and he credited his social media celebrity. Anna would also reach out to Ali's mom for help, which Allie recorded. While on the phone, Allie's mother could be heard telling Anna condescendingly that if she really believed that she was in danger, that she should call the cops and leave her son. She seemed to not believe the claims Anna was making, and when Anna said she didn't want him to go to jail because of what that would do to their daughter, Allie's mother scoffed at the idea. His social media use would begin to take a downward spiral, as he would use his accounts to direct harassment Anna's way, and he would record videos and live streams where he was clearly on drugs. On more than one occasion, he would do lines of coke while on stream, and could be seen with coke residue on his nose while doing his impressions. Some people felt as if it was part of the sketch, saying that he was impersonating Tony Montana, so it wasn't a big deal, but as time wore on, it became obvious that he had a huge drug problem. He would talk negatively about Anna online, saying she used him for her visa, that she was a horrible mother, and that he deserved better than her. This caused some of his fans to flood her social media and send her endless amounts of hate. But the final straw came when Anna allegedly witnessed Allie hand their daughter a loaded gun after doing coke in front of her. She realized then that Allie's anger and abuse wasn't just going to affect her but their child, and she told him she wanted a divorce. She didn't want to raise her daughter to believe that her relationship with Allie was normal and wanted to move on with her life. She was done with him and said as much. Allie moved out of the apartment and moved his stuff into a hotel, but seemed to believe that the relationship wasn't over. Despite Anna telling him repeatedly that she was done and that she didn't want to be with him, he felt as if it simply wasn't over and would try to win her back. He would constantly reach out to her, attempting to love bomb her to get back into her good graces, but Anna was done. She had been emotionally checked out of the relationship for a while and had begun secretly seeing Rayburn in the meantime. Ray had been a comforting presence, and while she had moved on quickly, the two had not begun their relationship prior to her leaving Allie. They kept their relationship secret though, usually meeting in hotels and outside of the home, knowing that Allie would target them both if he found out that Anna had moved on. They worried that he was watching her and took extra measures to ensure that they weren't seen. On one occasion, Allie would Instacart Anna and Amira their groceries, adding a bouquet of roses to the order. He seemed to believe that these flowers would make up for the years of physical, mental, and emotional abuse, and that she would be open to reconciliation once she received them. In his mind, he had done almost nothing wrong in the relationship, and the very assertion that he had was ludicrous. She was being unreasonable, and if he feigned remorse, she would come crawling back to him. He was Gin Kid after all. He was going to be the next Tony Montana. He watched as the items were delivered, and waited for her to text him, thanking him for the flowers and stating that she overreacted. But that didn't happen. She sent one text, saying she received the groceries, and nothing more. This deeply upset Allie. He felt like he had once again gone above and beyond for her. He had gotten her flowers, something that she wanted, made a concerted effort to make her happy, and she was being ungrateful. He could have anyone he wanted, and she seemed to feel like she could just reject him. The anger built in him as he drove to the apartment. He then used the key that he had secretly made, and when he got there, he was shocked to see the flowers had been discarded. Furious, he ransacked the apartment, breaking lamps, picture frames, and destroying their furniture in a rage. After Anna had left him, Allie had Googled how to spy on a partner, and he found that there were apps for phones and iPads that work as baby monitors, providing a live stream of everything happening on the other end of the line. He downloaded one of these apps listed in the article on his daughter's iPad, then hid it under Anna's bed. In his mind, Anna was his possession, and even though she had stated repeatedly that she didn't love him anymore, that she didn't feel safe around him, and didn't want to get back together, she was still his wife. He needed to know where she was, what she was doing, who she was with, every minute of every hour of every day. And if she wasn't going to give him the information, he would take it himself. When Anna returned home, she found the apartment completely ransacked. She immediately knew that Allie was behind the destruction. Even though he had returned his key to her, there was no one else in her life that would have done this. But despite that, she immediately told friends that she wanted to clean the home before her daughter was finished with school, just to make sure that her day wasn't affected by her father's antics. Anna told her friends that she was going to get a restraining order against Allie later that day, and hoped that he would take it as a sign that things were really over. She then called Ray to help her clean up the apartment, and when Allie heard Ray at the apartment with Anna, he decided that he was going to end her life. When we cover cases of domestic violence, we've been mindful to state that the immediate 18 months after leaving an abusive partner are the most dangerous to the victim, as the abuser often escalates their abuse. They will believe that the victim is their possession, that everything they did to them was deserved, and that belief is shattered when they leave. meaning that any restraint they had is out the window. Leaving an abusive partner is often just as dangerous as staying with them, making the journey to safety extremely difficult, and one that often takes a very long time. Ali would do more coke, grab one of his guns, and speed to Anna's home, listening to Anna and Ray talk the entire time. He felt as if she was cheating, betraying his trust, and ruining their relationship, even though she had repeatedly told him that she was leaving him. He recalled screaming at his phone as he listened to her laugh and talk to Ray, and said he was losing his mind, but held himself together enough not to stand out to any other witness. When he got to the apartment, he maintained his composure while in public areas, proving that he was of his right mind. He needed to hide his weapon, to appear calm and relaxed in front of Anna's neighbors and any witnesses. But when he got to the apartment and opened the door, he immediately shot Anna and Ray as they sat together on the couch.
A neighbor's Nest camera captured Ali Abulaban entering the apartment he once shared with his estranged wife, 28-year-old Anna Abulaban, followed by the sound of 6 gunshots. As it played in court, Abulaban bowed his head and cried. Prosecutors say he walked in and immediately shot Anna and 29-year-old Rayburn Barron as they sat on a couch. The video later records Abulaban yelling Anna's name, followed by him in the hallway on the phone with his mom admitting to the crime.
Ray had been shot 3 times in the head and neck, and Anna had been shot once in the middle of her forehead. He then called his mother. Ali then sent the pictures of the bodies to his mom, just to make sure that she fully believed him. Following the murders, Ali, still high on coke, decided that he should call the police. He determined that the best way forward was to pretend that he found Anna and Ray in the apartment, and that he innocently stumbled upon the scene, even though he was breaking into the apartment for the second time that day. Though his understanding of what happened was undoubtedly mired by how high he was, he understood that he had committed a crime, and was present enough to come up with a cover story in order to try and deflect the blame.
My wife and another man were I found them dead on the couch.
Ali Abulaban emotional in court Tuesday, listening to the 911 call he made on October 21st, 2021, reporting that his wife Anna Abulaban and her companion Rayburn Barron were shot.
Okay, stand by. Okay, hold on, sir.
Ali on the phone claiming he found the 2 dead.
Tell me what you saw when you went in there.
I saw my wife on the couch.
Ray, okay, look. I know you said your wife was shot in the face. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the forehead. He had 2 or 3 bullets in the head.
Ali then hangs up the 911 call, and moments later, San Diego police arrive at the apartment, not sure what they're walking into.
We got 2 down.
Police's body-worn camera video is too graphic to show. You can see Anna and Rayburn dead on the couch. As this played out as evidence to the jury, Ali and the courtroom were emotional. The neighbor who lived across from Anna and Ali's apartment testified that she heard the 2 of them fighting several times. The day of the shooting, she heard the gunshots ringing out and then saw Ali leave the apartment.
I believe he went towards the elevator. Then he came back. He screamed Anna a few times. He grabbed something from his floor mat, like mail, and then he left.
When Ali hung up, he seemed to realize that there was no way he was going to get away with what he had just done. The situation was too severe. He still had the gun on him, and there was no one else who would have motive to kill Anna and Ray. He left the scene, got back into his car, and went to his daughter's school, picking her up prior to the day ending. He reportedly appeared calm and even tempered when dealing with the school's administration, despite the fact that he had just murdered his ex-wife and her new boyfriend moments before. Ali took his daughter and began to leave the area. He was allegedly driving erratically, and though he would say that he only told his daughter that he, quote, hurt mommy, unquote, he called his mother once more. He repeated what he had done in graphic detail to her. Ali was attempting to flee the area, which would have resulted in an international search for him and his daughter, and unfortunately, those usually end with both parties perishing. Ali would likely have killed his daughter before allowing her to be taken away due to his documented history of abuse, but thankfully by this time, the San Diego police had put a be on the lookout bulletin to all officers for his car, noting that he was armed and dangerous. As he was driving away from the school, a total of 6 police cars surrounded his own and forced him to the side of the road. They were aware his daughter was in the car and had planned the stop carefully, wanting to ensure there was not further loss of life. And seeing as he had no way out, Ali surrendered. After his arrest, Ali was interrogated for 5 hours, at which point he confessed to having killed Anna and Rayburn. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, but during the first pre-trial hearing, Ali put in a plea of not guilty. He claimed that he had innocently come to the apartment that afternoon and found Anna and Rayburn deceased on the couch. Despite the video evidence from his phone and the security footage where he is seen entering the apartment before the gunshots, then is heard calling his mother to say that he killed them, and his own mother confirming he confessed to the police, he stated that it was a giant misunderstanding. He claimed that he is innocent and he was being falsely accused. He also claimed he had only picked up his daughter from school because he was, quote, scared someone was after them, unquote. Apparently, he believed that whoever killed his ex-wife and her new boyfriend would be back to finish the job, and he was solely concerned with getting Amira to safety. The story was unbelievable, given how much direct evidence there was in the case. Ali had left a substantial trail, proving that he was the only one who could have killed his wife, but he refused to admit responsibility. His actions in his mind were completely justified, and he was confident that the world would eventually agree with him. His legal counsel advised him to stay quiet prior to trial, as they created the most robust argument that they could. Their hands would be full, trying to suppress the evidence against him, and they repeatedly told him it would be in his best interest to say nothing unless they were present. But Ali, of course, couldn't help himself. He felt like he knew better, as if his lawyers didn't quite get him, and that they should listen to his advice, not the other way around. He had accrued millions of followers on TikTok. People adored him, and all he needed to do was explain the situation. Then he would be let go. Of course, after he also would flash that blue steel. So, when he was eventually contacted by Fox 5 News San Diego and offered an interview, he jumped at the chance. Before we go into reviewing this interview, the murderer being interviewed after being charged is exceedingly rare, given what a horrifically bad idea it is. To put it in perspective, a defendant taking the stand in their own defense is stupid, but still understandable to some degree. They likely feel powerless, or that the prosecution has mischaracterized them. They want the opportunity to show the jury that they aren't the evil villain that they are painted to be, and maybe to some degree, they believe they can outsmart them. A defense team would try and relay what a bad idea that is, but ultimately, it would be their choice. But to go on television to take an interview is such a bad idea that it almost never occurs. It is such a bad idea that it would be understood that the defendant wouldn't do it, because even if they stuck to their original story, they would still be giving their basic defense to the prosecution. There's only 2 other cases we've covered where this has occurred, and that was the case of Diane Downs and the case of Robert Tellis, which is truly terrible company to be in. But again, Ali believes that he's famous. Every time a fan commented that he made their day by posting that his content saved their life and that they loved his work, he took it to heart. He believes that his fans are waiting on his every word, and when the case goes to trial, they'll be lining in the streets, cheering him on. He also believes that everything he did to Anna throughout the relationship was justified, and that he is so charismatic that he can sell his abuse as love. So going into this, we need to understand that Ali's goals are a moving target. His first goal is to continue to deny responsibility and assert that he is somehow innocent. He needs to continue to affirm the story he originally gave, without giving any more details. That way his case isn't negatively affected. His second goal contradicts the first somewhat, as it's to validate the reason why Anna and Ray had been murdered. Ali is a narcissist, and watching the reporting around this case upset him. The press had characterized him as evil, jealous, and possessive, and framed the murders as if Anna and Ray were victims. But they weren't, at least not to Ali. They had hurt him. They forced him to hurt them, and it would be important to Ali to state that even though they were murdered, on some level, they did deserve it. And his third goal, completely unrelated to the first 2, would be to comfort his fans, who he believed were suffering without his content. So let's see if he was successful.
Now to a story you'll see first on Fox 5, a jailhouse interview with a rising TikTok star accused of double murder. Now, we want to warn you, the emotionally charged interview may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Now, you'll recall in October, a man and woman were shot to death in an East Village high-rise. The suspect is the woman's estranged husband. And he sat down with our Kelsey Christensen while he waits for court proceedings behind bars.
Ali Abulaban, husband, father, TikTok star, and also accused of double murder.
Did you kill her?
So that is a bad answer. Obviously, because if you were trying to maintain your innocence, as Ali is, then the answer should be no, I didn't kill her. But Ali has waited his whole life for this moment. He's being interviewed for the news. He's being given the biggest spotlight he's ever had, and he would feel that right now is his time to shine. He's sobbing. Tears are running down his face, his beautiful face, and he's making no effort to hide his emotions. Ali is acting his ass off because he is attempting to look innocent, to look pained, because that equates to sincerity in his mind. This performativity is highly unnatural, but it's more than likely that Ali believes that it is through these tears that he will win the hearts of the public. They will see a man who blames himself for his wife's murder, even though he wasn't the one to pull the trigger, that his only real regret was not being there for her and not being a better husband, even though a straightforward denial of responsibility would suit him better. He is farming for sympathy, even at the cost of his own freedom.
He's referring to the deaths of his estranged wife Anna Abulaban and her friend Rayburn Barron. They were shot dead October 21st in an East Village high-rise. Prosecutors say just days prior, Anna kicked Ali out of their home. So he installed a listening device on their daughter's iPad and used it to spy on his wife.
Yeah, I was listening on the house with the iPad through my phone.
So when you heard Rayburn's voice, you went to...
I didn't recognize him. I didn't know who it was.
But what were you thinking?
I was freaking out. Oh my God, I caught her. Oh my God. There's a man. And then guess what? I hear nightmare. R&B music.
Again, this is a fundamentally terrible answer because it shows that he was stalking his ex-wife prior to the murder. Most rational people would agree that putting a listening device under your ex's bed and tracking them and breaking into their home would qualify as stalking, which is a crime. They would see that what he just confessed to as being a huge indicator that he is capable of murdering Anna and Ray, that he was prone to violence and possessiveness when it came to Anna, and that he went over to the home with the intent to murder them. Even if there wasn't any further evidence against him, this statement is damning, especially since he is attempting to justify what he did. In his own retelling, he's animated, going over the various details and trying to get the reporter on his side. He explains that what he did was normal, even though he is admitting to hiding a listening device in his ex's home for the express purpose of spying on her. There is no sense of remorse, no feelings of shame. He doesn't seem to feel as if what he did was unjustified. It was okay because she had another man over. And then he heard R&B. What he did was good and rational because she is the one who forced him to do it. If Ali did something wrong, in his mind, it was never his fault. Everything he did was always justified, even if he killed everybody else.
As you're driving to the apartment. What happens when you get to the apartment?
I go up and I see them.
What did you think? What did you think?
They were... Nothing. I didn't see that. I don't know. It was a blur.
So Ali appeared to remember that he is not supposed to talk about what he saw or found midway through this sentence. He seemed to believe that if he doesn't respond to this particular question, that he wouldn't be hurting the case, but that's obviously not true. Again, narcissists like Ali tend to believe they are more intelligent and charismatic than they really are, and that they are in control of every situation. He lacks the basic understanding that even by sitting down with the reporter that he's already fucked his story up. He just admitted to getting into his car with a weapon and going to the apartment because he was angry at Anna, that he was so furious when he heard her with another man that he mobilized in order to try and stop her from having consensual sex. which is the exact motive the prosecution gave when they charged him with murder. His story aligns more with the prosecution's theory of events than the one he put forward, and that's obviously the issue. But his hope is that you don't recognize that instead, you, the viewer at home, sees a broken man whose only crime was loving a bad woman, that you blame Anna for leaving a good man and forcing him to listen to her having sex with someone else, even though she wouldn't be at fault for that, because she didn't know that he'd planted a listening device under her bed. Allie's emotions seem to be running high, with him repeatedly hitting the metal table, or yelling and open-mouthed sobbing at times. His emotions are a spectacle, with him demanding they be seen and heard by everyone around him, which indicates they aren't actually real. To be clear, there are plenty of instances where you could obviously cry loudly and not be vying for attention, but when you look at the totality of Allie's actions, you can see that that is not the case here. He demands that he be taken seriously, that his emotions are prioritized, and then goes to lengths to achieve that. He's willing to hurt himself, to make himself look crazy, all to get the result that he wants, which in this case is to be comforted by the reporter. He wants her to take his side, so he makes himself look as hurt as possible. Even though he is talking about the murder of his ex-wife and her new boyfriend, the murder he committed, he's still seeking comfort.
Eyes on shotgun. I got on the passenger seat of Blue Mountain Body.
Something this tragic shouldn't be this crazy.
Let me be clear. If someone emotionally hurts you, you are not given carte blanche to physically hurt them in retaliation. If everything that Allie said is true, that Anna cheated on him, that she used him for a green card, that she never really loved him, he is still a murderer. You can be a terrible person and not deserve to be murdered. Mind you, that's not the case, but it still needs to be said regardless. Less than a minute earlier, he stopped himself from stating what he saw when he got to the apartment, because he realized it would hurt his defense. But he immediately forgets that when the interviewer presses a bit more, and he is shaking in rage when describing seeing Anna and Ray on the couch together. He jumps into justifying the murder, asking the reporter how she would feel in his position, completely unaware that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you were hurt by an ex moving on, leaving you and causing you emotional pain. You are not then justified in killing them. It doesn't matter if Ray and Anna were sitting on the couch that he put together in the apartment that they used to share. They both still deserve to live. He is shaking as he screams about this, and you can hear his voice echo in the cement room. Allie is showcasing in no uncertain terms that he feels like what he did was okay, because they deserved it, that Anna was his property, and the fact that she wasn't doing exactly what he wanted her to do meant that he was justified in breaking into the apartment earlier that day and destroying it, and coming back and shooting her in the head. Earlier, we discussed how Allie would throw tantrums in order to get his way. He would scream, hit things, and lash out emotionally until the other party gave him what he wanted. He wasn't afraid of hurting himself or hurting the people closest to him, as long as he got what he wanted, and he perfectly displays that in this moment. Even though the interviewer has remained calm and level-headed, he has escalated his emotional outbursts to an alarming point. She isn't feeding into his behavior, validating it, or fighting against what he's saying, but because she isn't agreeing with him outright, he feels he needs to do more. He needs to get louder, strike the table more, cry more, so that she feels scared enough to give him what he wants. He's trying to intimidate her, and you can easily picture how dangerous he can be to any potential partner. If you are watching an inner relationship with a person who exhibits this kind of behavior during arguments, it would be in your best interest to leave. If they lash out at you, hit walls or desks, and refuse to actively communicate, you're not safe. Resources will be left in the description box down below, and I genuinely hope you are able to find safety.
Prosecutors say Ali confessed to both police and his mother that he killed his wife and Rayburn and accused his wife of cheating. Though at this time, prosecutors say Rayburn was just a friend.
So the prosecution says that you admitted to your mother that you did this, and then you pled not guilty. Can you explain that?
Go to jail,
Shortly
asshole.
After the shooting, Ali was arrested driving on the 15. Police say he had a gun and his 5-year-old daughter in the car.
Did you have a gun in the car?
Enemy spring on. Safe location at my dad's wife's brother lives an hour away. But police surrounded me on the highway.
Why did you pick her up?
Semtex incoming.
From school. Why did you pick her up from school? But you picked her up early, correct? Why did you pick her up early?
Again, if it weren't blatantly obvious, Ali is doing a truly terrible job of coming across as sympathetic or likable in this interview, which is extremely important when we talk about jury trials. If a defendant comes across as unlikable, aggressive, and untrustworthy, most of their statements can be hand-waved by juries. Ali is attempting to make it seem like it's no big deal that he picked up Mira from school after he supposedly found Anna and Ray murdered on the couch. Despite his emotional outburst and the prospect of his possession leaving him, he is now trying to maintain his original story, that being that he simply found them, thought he was in danger, and wanted to bring his daughter to a safe house. But that would be a big deal. If that were the truth and the story he would want to go with, he would have to concede that picking up his daughter from school was abnormal, and something that should be justified. Unless he's trying to argue that picking her up was something he did often, he shouldn't feel attacked for justifying it. Ali's beginning to get argumentative with the reporter because she's doing her job. Earlier, his anger seemed to be in line with the events he was discussing, but now, the fact that she's asking him questions at all seems to be aggravating him.
Did you know what had happened? Your wife being shot.
I'm the one who called the police. Reported it.
I know.
I found them. When I found them, my first instinct was to get my daughter for her safety. To drop her off at a safe location. I wasn't running away. I wasn't doing anything. I have nothing to hide.
What happened when you found them?
Ali says he, Anna, and their daughter moved to San Diego in February 2021. He talks fondly about their old life in Virginia.
So we owned a home in Virginia. We had the American dream. We have 2 cars. Our life is great. So I said, let me pick up another hobby.
That hobby is his TikTok personality, Jin Kid. He made videos impersonating violent characters and built quite a following, nearly 1 million fans. He crafted his online persona after his favorite film, character, and actor, Al Pacino's Tony Montana from Scarface.
I've been making my videos. I miss all everything. It's my craft. It's my baby. I love what I do. I wanted to be an actor. And I was right there. I was right there. The weekend before all this happened, I was in LA at the Comedy Store. I was talking to producers. I was about to have a talent agent. It was right there.
In case you missed it, Ali just called his TikTok career his baby and is upset that he lost it because he was arrested for double homicide. He's genuinely grieving the loss of his fleeting TikTok celebrity more than the loss of Anna or his presence in his daughter's life, his actual baby. That is more important to him. Again, Anna was his possession. He killed her because he didn't like the idea of her moving on with her life and no longer being his. But he didn't actually care for her well-being, as noted by the fact that he physically and emotionally abused her throughout the relationship. If he cared for her in any real way, he wouldn't have felt justified in harming her and making her fear for her life.
He says he and Anna grew apart after they settled in San Diego. He blames the move and their lifestyle choices for ruining their marriage.
That was part of the downfall because my wife brought us. She wanted me to move her out here with all her friends to a life where there's Taco Tuesday, Women Wednesday, Party Saturday, Bar Sunday.
Ali says Anna partied too much, but when we spoke to Anna's childhood friend and Ali's cousin, they painted a different picture.
He's a bad guy. There's nothing good about him. He's selfish. That's all I can say is selfish.
Pulls out like a full bag of cocaine, not like a little bag, a big bag. And we're like, what the hell? You know, are you trying to get us all in trouble? He goes, I'm Jin Kid. I could do whatever I want. Nobody can touch me. I'm Jin Kid, you know?
Again, we should be clear. Even if Anna did everything that Allie said, that still does not justify murder. It also stems to reason that Allie liked living in Virginia because Anna was isolated there. She wasn't able to make friends because of Allie's behavior, and she was completely controlled by him. It was only when she began to break away and find community for herself that she felt as if she could leave him. It's notable that he is characterizing that change as being where the problems began, not when he was discharged from the Air Force for striking her, or when he'd been documented hurting her repeatedly in public, but when she began to feel safe enough to leave.
Ollie, your family says that your social media fame changed you. They say that you were doing cocaine, didn't really care about the consequences.
Nope.
Are they right?
That's false. My family doesn't know anything because they never cared.
I asked again about his cocaine use.
Do you think that made you snap? Do you think it changed you?
Yeah! It messes with my brain!
Allie is an idiot. We already knew this, but it's on full display here. Allie adamantly denies using cocaine, despite there being multiple instances of him using the drug while on live stream. He says he never used it, and that anyone who said it is lying, because they didn't actually care about him. So everyone who has said anything negative against him should be discounted, because he doesn't approve of them, or feel as if they care enough to be taken seriously, only to immediately admit to doing cocaine. These two things obviously contradict each other, and can be used to discount everything he says in court. Credibility is all a defendant has when taking the stand, and Allie is absolutely destroying his, but that is not necessarily important to him. He will say and do whatever he thinks is best for him in the moment. Because he lacks the ability to see his own faults, he will find a way to justify both answers, make both of them true, and disparage anyone who thinks otherwise. Logic and reasoning don't work on somebody like Allie, because in his mind, he is always right.
It made me violent, it made me, aggressive, you know? When I'm on it, yeah.
Prosecutors say Anna was planning to file a restraining order and that Ali has a history of domestic violence, something Anna's best friend confirms, even though Ali denies ever hitting Anna.
Were you feeling any remorse about this situation?
I'm broken, I'm devastated, I lost my wife. My goal was to just try to get a hold of my family. It was slipping through my fingers. I'm the loser here.
Allie just actually admitted to thinking he is the ultimate victim in the situation. Hashtag tears for Allie, not the woman he killed, not the man he murdered, and not his daughter, who is now without both of her parents, but him, the man who caused all of this for seemingly no reason because he's a loser. He is also extremely performative with his actions. It's not so much that he is generally an expressive person, or that he's talking with his hands. He's acting like he's on a television show and was just given a big monologue. He's acting as if he knows the camera is shooting him from the shoulders up, and he has to keep moving in order to keep people engaged. It's not natural, but Allie doesn't realize that.
I lost the love of my life. I lost the love of my life. Everybody I reached out to when I was going through this problem, when I couldn't get a hold of Anna. Dude, you gotta leave her. You gotta leave her. I know I gotta leave her, but I don't want to leave her. Dude, you're so handsome. You're famous on the internet. You can get any model. I know I can. I don't want to. I want my wife.
Again, Allie can't help himself. To be clear, he's not an unattractive guy, but he's also an aggressive, violent fucking freak whose claim to fame is making skits on an app that is algorithmically easy to go viral on because the app itself implores it. He's not a model. He isn't so stunningly attractive or funny that everyone is dying to date him. He's just some guy. But he feels special. He feels as if he's better than everyone, especially the woman he killed. He was a gift from God to her, and she should have felt lucky to be loved by him, even if that love was abusive and killed her in the end. He frames her as being the antagonist in his life, even when he destroys hers. Moreover, it shouldn't matter that his friends told him to leave her, because she had already left him. She had told him repeatedly that she was done. He moved out of the apartment. She had stated she wanted a divorce, but he didn't want to be left. If the relationship was going to end, he needed to be the one to end it for his own ego.
Could anyone else have Anna? Could anyone else have Anna?
So that interview could not have gone worse. Ali admitted to abusing Anna, contradicted himself a number of times, proving his own testimony cannot be trusted, and ended the interview by saying that no one else could have Anna while she was married to him. He had tried to validate the murders while placing the blame on his wife, and admitted to being present at the scene prior to when Anna and Ray were shot, meaning that he was the only one who could have killed them. But chances are that he didn't understand that. If he did believe that the interview hurt him, he would have placed the blame outside of himself and onto the interviewer. She made him look bad. They edited him to look worse, and so on. Nothing was ever his fault, even when it demonstrably was. But things would only get even more dramatic for the wannabe actor. During the preliminary hearings, Ali would become noticeably upset when listening to the evidence against him, as well as the relationship that had developed between Anna and Ray. But as we have noted, Ali was not one to keep his emotions to himself. If he felt any negative feeling, he wanted to inflict it on those around him, more specifically, the person who he felt was responsible for it. If you upset him, he wanted you to be upset, even if you were just telling him the truth. When Detective Sergeant Christopher Lee was testifying about the Nest security camera footage that captured the murders, Ali began to scream.
Experienced during a violent event. Is that fair to say?
He created one, yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Hold on. Mr. Boulevard? Mr. Boulevard. Okay. We're going to take a break.
Again, it doesn't matter to Lee that what the sergeant was saying is true, and that he's simply reviewing the facts of the case. In Ali's mind, he is hurting him. The information he is presenting doesn't make him feel good, so he's allowed to lash out against him. But he didn't just lash out in anger. At one point, autopsy photos were shared in the court, and Ali would lay his head down on the table in front of him and make a show out of sobbing. It was vitally important that everyone in the court hear how sad he was, and when he thought he was being too quiet, he began to yell, "My baby," repeatedly. Ali didn't feel emotions privately. They were things to be observed, tools to be used to gain his social status and a certain response. And he thought that his actions in court would be viewed as sympathetic or remorseful, even though most rational people would feel differently. After the preliminary hearings, Ali's legal team realized that they needed to change course. With the prosecution's evidence from the public, they had a clearer idea of what they were up against, and they could no longer deny that Ali was responsible for the murders. His continued denials would only ensure a guilty verdict and make him look more callous. So they created an alternative argument. They conceded that Ali had killed Anna and Ray, but only because he had been, quote, pushed to the brink of sanity, unquote, by Anna's actions. She had betrayed him, made him paranoid, and her rejection had caused him to lose his mind. When he heard her with Ray, he lost his ability to think clearly, and therefore wasn't responsible for what happened. Their case had no legs to stand on, especially given his violent history prior to the relationship ending, but Ali didn't seem to realize that. By the time the case went to trial, Ali truly believed he was walking out of court a free man. If you made it to this portion of the video, thank you so much for watching. Part 2 of our coverage of Ali Abulabon will be up soon. Originally, we planned to include the direct examination in this video, but our internet is still pretty finicky, so we likely won't be able to upload a 4-hour video at this moment. If you're watching via Patreon, we will get that video up as quickly as possible, alongside the cross-examination. Again, we will be upgrading our internet at the end of this month, so hopefully this will no longer be an issue. So thank you for your patience in the meantime. As always, if there's a case you would like to see or a topic you want more attention brought to, let me know by emailing me at dreading.official@gmail.com. If you like this video and want to see more, consider liking and subscribing. As always, stay safe.
Hardpoint is secure. Hardpoint located. RCX deactivated. Enemy RCXD detected. Hardpoint active.
Hello and welcome back to Jarvis Johnson Gold, the premium channel that is free. It is free, but if you're watching this, you're premium. And I have a question. How do you pick up women? How do you? Because I'll tell you how I do it. I do it with my 2 arms. Okay, so I found a guy on TikTok. So this is Smooth Geo. Geo's way of being smooth is to pretend to be gay.
I mean, you know, something. Okay, now your turn. Now I need to turn. Exactly.
We're freshmen.
Like, freshman besties? Oh my God.
You have my phone number.
Yes.
Give me a hang out.
But then he switches into the threatening version of himself, and everyone gets scared.
I'm gonna hit you, all right?
Oh my God. I thought you were gay.
Nah, you tripping. All right, baby, 7 p.m. Don't forget.
He's like, I gotcha. I tricked you. Now I have your number. You would have given it to me if you were threatened by me. So this is bad. So don't do this. This is very bad. The easiest way to get a girl's number. So my question is this a prank video or is this a pickup video? You know what I mean? I think that my take on whether or not it's good in either case is no. I'm not a big fan of prank videos. I think the prank would be at the end, the women that he's approaching who are having these large reactions, some of which do not feel comfortable as a result of this big reveal of this code switch. But it's also like very, what's the word, homophobic to just like pretend. Now, all of this is because he is presenting it with the end of picking up a woman. If this is just like his identity, then who cares, right? Like, you know, be yourself. But it's the tricks. It's the tricks and the pranks that are the problem. And the filming people without their consent. There's a lot of layers to this, really. Also, it's 2024, and if being gay is the punchline of your comedy, if it's being played for comedy, then it's not good comedy. I'll say it. We comedy police. Haha, actually, gay is not a good punchline. Well, I hope that you then yourself are gay, otherwise you're exploiting someone's identity for content. He has more subscribers than me on YouTube. Okay, so this is a popular series. This is really reminiscent of like when I first started doing YouTube, the car here and the pickup videos, this reminds me of gold digger prank videos. I don't know what the actual content is, but the presentation of it just reminds me. So we've got a couple of series here. We've got Acting Zesty to Get Girls Numbers Part 5, Getting Girls Numbers as a Gangster. Okay, so these are the two sides of the coin. You're either zesty or a gangster. I don't know where I land on that. I feel personally that I'm like when you flip the coin and it lands on like the edge and it stands up straight and you're in like a dream. That's my identity. It also implies the zesty to gangster spectrum, which I'm not sure those things are on the same plane. There must be a zesty gangster out there, I'm sure of it. But before we get into that, we have a brief word from today's sponsor, Bombas. This winter, I'm trying a new thing where I'm the coziest guy in the world, and Bombas socks help me do just that. Bombas socks are so comfortable. They feel nice and snug on my feet. They've built-in arch support, so there's no annoying seams at your toes for your toenails to get caught in. And most importantly, they feel like they're made for my foot specifically. They have socks for every occasion: running, hiking, dressing up, staying in. And you're not going to want to miss Bombas' holiday drop featuring the plushiest, softest, most comfortable essentials of the season, including merino wool to warm those little toes, cashmere merino blend vintage rib socks, which are like thick, elegant ribbed sweaters made for your feet, cozy and plush slippers for those cold days relaxing inside, and their new fuzzy socks, which are like shoving your foot on a little cloud. Also, one purchase equals one donated. Bombas donates essentials to shelters for unhoused folks with every purchase. Socks, underwear, t-shirts are the most requested items, so people are getting some stuff that they can make use of this holiday season. So far, over 140 million essential clothing items have been donated by Bombas across a network of 3,500 giving partners and all 50 states. New customers get 20% off their first purchase, so use the QR code on screen or head on over to bombas.com and use promo code Jarvis at checkout. Thanks again to Bombas for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video.
Hey man, it's your boy, Small G.O.
This is truly a blast from the past. I feel like I'm watching a radio shock jock. He's doing a whole little intro. It's kind of like when he says that, hello and welcome back to Jarvis Johnson Gold. I need like a new one, you know? Hello and welcome back to Jarvis Gold. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I've been dropping some bangers back to back. If I ain't been dropping bangers, you're lying. Y'all see I'm back.
This is a lot of meta commentary. I'm kind of fascinated. I'm going to be honest. It's a lot of, you know, how the channel's doing, keeping the people informed. It does feel like how often people talk to a younger audience. I don't know.
Acting zesty part, what is this, part 1, 2, I think this is part 4.
That's like me with clean girl videos, right? Like I get to a certain point where I'm like, ooh, I usually have a rule where I'm like, okay, I've now crossed over into no more clean girl videos, no more Shane Dawson videos. Too much content, too easy, you know? I don't want that to become my whole thing. I don't want to be Jarvis reacts to acting zesty to get girls part 5, you know what I mean?
Look at this. Oh my God, your eyes look just like the water.
I have a boyfriend.
Oh no, bitch, I do not swing that way. I do not, bitch, no. No, I'm saying like a girl's night.
Wait, so he's just lying. So he got hit with the I have a boyfriend, and then he was like, just lied and said, no, I don't swing that way. And then they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were hitting on me. He is. That's the whole prank. And he goes, no, I meant a girls' night. Us girls.
Yeah. Yes. Of course. That's what I'm saying. What do you think? You think I... Listen, I love big black...
Brother. Okay. All right. This is another banger. I've been dropping straight bangers, dude. Lying to women. Okay? They call me on my lie. I double down.
My name is Gio, or you can call me like, you know, whatever you want to do. Gigi, Gio, whatever you want to do.
Are you a YouTuber?
Oh, no, man. She just...
What do we do about this? What is this here? It's got all the normal elements of a prank video, of a pickup video. It's got the lying. It's got the hidden cameras. If somebody's asking if you're a YouTuber and you're like, no, while you're filming them in 4K, we maybe have a problem, I think. It's also like defeats the purpose of the video, because if you're including clips where people, not that you should not be including these clips because it helps me, but if you're including these clips where people are suspicious to your intentions, then are you doing a great job acting? Everyone in the comments is like, oh my God, you should win an Oscar. The people in the video are suspicious. And it's not a surprise if someone thinks that you're being dishonest with them, and then you double down in your lie and they believe you. That doesn't reflect on them at all. It makes you look shitty. If you double down on your lie when someone is suspicious of you and they believe you after you insist that you aren't filming, you're not a YouTuber, actually you're gay and you're not trying to get someone's number, well, now you're just gross. Not to mention the antics that got you there in the first place.
I'm sorry?
I thought it was a YouTube video.
Everyone's sharpshooting, dude. What? I thought it was a YouTube video. I thought you were doing some sort of like smooth Geo type zesty prank video.
What the fuck? Dude, who is this weirdo? Hey!
This is gonna be on.
Dude, can you not like record us?
That's absurd. That is ridiculous. What is this? What has happened? We're filming prank videos, lying about them being a prank video, and then pretending your cameraman is actually an op.
This is my gym page here. And yeah, maybe we can work out, do some abs. Oh my God, isn't she so fire? Never mind.
Okay, I'm just gonna say the obvious. It's like really disgusting to like be engaging in these stereotypes as like a heterosexual man. I don't know his sexuality, nor does it matter to me in 99.99% of the cases. In the circumstance where you were exactly making a prank video about your sexuality not being homosexual, there's where I care. that's you found the loophole where I actually give a shit, is when you're lying to people about it, or at least the premise of your video is that you're lying. And that's just always the thing. It's like the thing with pranks that annoy me is just the lying and filming. The lying and filming. From what I've gathered, Gio is an entrepreneurial, enterprising young man who has obviously found some success on social media, making videos, etc. And hey, me too. I do think that these videos are harmful, and that's mainly what, I am trying to illustrate here. I do believe in, changing your ways. I don't think some random commentary YouTuber who's going to be labeled a hater is really going to be the one to change hearts and minds here, but hey, we try. Cucumber series? Oh, Lord. Okay, so put a cucumber in your pants. That's a series. The question I always ask is, who is entertained by this, right? It's very adolescent, I have to say, at best. Not many 30-year-olds enjoying the cucumber prank series, I would assume, which is fine, but I do think when you have a younger audience, you have some responsibility to that audience to shepherd them in a productive direction. Not always. I mean, entertainment can just be entertainment, but don't love it. Just a thought, not to be a killjoy or anything.
They don't need no man, but I ran it up. I just put 50 bands in a big belly truck. Why I let it get in and I let it get out. I just lift up the brain cause that bitch made me nut and I just...
This is a very funny thing that used to happen on YouTube where you can tell that the values of the person in the video have nothing to do with the content. All this person wants to do is hang out with their friends, be wealthy, have cool things, have fun experiences. And so there's no other reason to have a fun supercut music video at the beginning of your gym prank video.
Yeah, it's like everybody came about the cucumbers, bro. What's up? Nah, the cucumbers ain't over there.
The vlog finding a cucumber, I'm obsessed, man.
On the wall. Am I tweaking?
On the wall. It's like low-key exposing this is his first time alone in a grocery store. It should not be a whole subplot figuring out where cucumbers are located at the grocery store. I'm just gonna say it. Brother, this is not a prank video. You are grocery shopping.
You got some good eyes. See, that's what I need. I can't just be out here by myself. I need another eye.
He's just trying to be fun and engaging. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that core. I think that it's like where it's directed.
You know, fat cucumber. Big black.
Okay, it's been 2 years since that video, so I think the content for sure has matured. Of course, it has to have matured. There's no way that it's still is immature. Yeah, see, no. No, you see, you put those words, and there's no version of this that you can do that's gonna be funny, buddy. And this was last year, so I don't know why this is pinned on your page still, Mr. Geo, hello? Hey. Checking in. Delete this. There's no way it's funny. You're not a skilled enough comedian to make this funny. Bro. Okay, so I'm not gonna show this TikTok, but the prank is that he has beeping coming out of his phone, and it's called I don't even know if I can show these words on YouTube without getting demonetized. It's a Islamophobic prank, basically. It is the most stereotypical, straightforward, baby's first racism version of this prank.
Tight shit. Feels good too, you know? Tight shit. Lock in with it, you know? You feel me? You look like you got everything set for you right now, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't trying to be in debt no more, I got niggas that'll take them out right now.
Okay, so the context that's missing here in all of these things, for guys specifically, women are experiencing this all the time without there being a YouTube video. So there's just, a default response because there's a certain type of attention that women are constantly getting from men that is unwanted. And so then you develop a shield of behaviors. I have a boyfriend. I don't want to talk to you. My headphones are not coming off. I'm going to keep walking. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to make eye contact. Like, it's not women being hard to get or something like that. This is constantly happening without a prank video, And that is a societal thing that I think if we were more aware of, we could be more empathetic and understand why maybe you don't want to approach anyone this way. Specifically, it's like a heteronormative situation going on, but you get it.
I want you, because we already got that aesthetic.
Let me tell you, this is hard to watch. It's funny because it even feels like cultural appropriation when he's doing the gangster version. Like, I don't know if you're about that life, buddy. You have a fitness Instagram. Not that I'm the one who can say, but I did also just watch you shopping for cucumbers for the first time. So I'm torn. I'm just getting mixed signals is all.
Let these tricks know how much do you want and what are you offering?
Monthly, I want 100,000. That's what I expect,
I'm gonna offer 40,000.
40,000 monthly.
This is like the most mega stage thing I've ever seen in my life. And what does it do? What does it do? It just makes a bunch of people in the comments go, ugh, women have such unrealistic expectations. And then that wheel continues turning. But it's profitable because it gets you into a corner of TikTok with a bunch of angry viewers that want their views to be validated. Unlike these videos where it's all happy people who just want to be validated. There's no universe where this person actually expects $1.2 million a year from someone after tax. This is like a light grift, right? Because it just, it reinforces a bunch of people's existing beliefs and grievances, but it's just entertainment. It's just pranks. It's just for fun. But I think it really has a degenerative effect on the people who are consuming it, if they're really buying into this, especially if they don't realize it's staged, which I wouldn't fault like a younger person for not realizing that.
Oh, yeah?
Good for you.
Oh, my God, thank you.
Oh my God, you got these from just right where we're in the floor. We are walking in the floral section of Publix right now. I should mention, apparently this guy's from Florida. I too am from Florida. Shout out Publix. Shout out Publix subs. I miss those. Oh, okay, cucumber prank.
Are you hard?
What you mean?
Are you hard right now?
What even is the context that they're supposed to be in? How did they get here in this house?
You hard?
What you mean?
Are you hard right now?
I feel like no one is that I mean, okay, people are that confrontational, but never in a million years am I asking someone if they have an erection.
You're just a pervert.
That's a stretch. You call this covered up?
This is modest. I will go.
Modest?
This is super.
Bro. All right, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Dude, sorry. No, it's all good. I can help you out with that conversation. I work in communication. What's going on with you? Where you from?
I'm from here.
Oh, word, me too. I ain't never seen you. So you got an Instagram or some shit like that?
No, sorry. I'm on the phone with my friend and I only have 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes? Let me make it 10 for you.
I hate this so much. I hate this so much. I wouldn't know what to do. I admire this woman's patience. I would just scream. I would just go, ah, stop it. Leave me alone. Somehow giving Floridians a worse name, a worse name than I thought possible. I do so much work for the Floridian community. As someone who is from Florida and left, I say it all the time. I say, hey, not all Floridians. And then people like this, these little TikTok pranksters. When a TikTok prankster comes on to the internet from Florida, they're not sending their best, okay? They're sending zesty gangsters to pick up all of our women. Sorry, is this tracking as a joke? Let's move on.
If I make this shot, I get your number. That's all good. I like girls who like girls who like girls. That's all good. Come on, baby, I need. Oh, yeah. You ain't gonna. They'll never see the good shit you do.
It is a funny concept to meet someone and then engage in a game that they are not a part of. Hey, nice to meet you. If I solve this Rubik's Cube, you owe me $1 million. Oh my God, look. Anyway, I'll send you my routing information.
That's all good. I like girls who like girls who like girls. That's all good.
What is this Brendan Urie ass girls love girls ass lyric? What is this Drake ass I'm a lesbian girl me too ass? What are you saying? What are you saying?
Excuse me, baby. What's your name?
There's so many parts about this that make me uncomfortable. When you're the gay guy character, you're calling every girl bitch or whatever. I don't like that he's calling every woman baby. That wouldn't make me if I was just walking on the street trying to get to my class or talking on the phone or doing literally anything better with my time. Women don't just want to be called baby on the street. It's just kind of the facts of the matter. There's very few people for whom that would be true for, and those people will tell you if that's what they want. This feels like a parody of prank videos of the past. It looks like you fed prank videos, like 100 million hours of prank videos into ChatGPT and spit out one of those videos where like everything looks kind of familiar, but the physics don't make any sense.
I need to get some things out of the truck and stuff like that.
Oh, this is so Omega staged. The script is even good. I need to get some things out of the trunk or something like that. Like, what are we even doing?
I need to get some things out of the truck and stuff like that. You like it? You like what you see?
Oh my God. It's funny because you can tell the real videos from the fake ones, because in the real videos, people are annoyed and just trying to get to whatever they were trying to get to. And in the fake videos, everyone is a cartoon. This prank invasion ass, like 2014 ass video.
What about this one, huh? What about this one? Look at this one. You like her, huh?
What are we doing? Why you looking at my eye? Look at my eye. You looking at my eye?
I've been up for a while, so maybe it's possible that this video makes sense. I'm just gonna assume this is super staged, but like in the staged fictional universe, a man being caked up is akin to a Godzilla-esque monster you need to run away from. I mean, that is kind of how people react when they see my ass, which is why I keep it under lock and key. This kind of reaction and kind of validating it is what makes this world very dangerous for queer people, you know, because if someone gets violent the second they're attracted to someone who isn't the sex that they thought, like, Jesus, people are just out here existing. I just have a nice ass, okay? Your Honor, that is my only crime. By the way, the yoga pants prank is the title of this. It's very weird to do a ton of content where the punchline is gay, LOL. But then also you were the subject who is pretending to be gay. So you've created a space where you're allowed to be gay, but people out in the world are not.
She's so good.
I got a boyfriend though.
Oh, bitch. I do not. Yes.
I didn't know. My fault.
Where you going?
I go to the gym.
I need to get my pump on, bitch.
No, you should come with me next time.
I'll take my number.
Oh, really? Let me see.
I'm kind of new on campus. What are you doing tonight?
I'm not doing anything.
Oh my God, let's do something.
Okay, so this is 100% staged. This is just like those AI posts on Facebook that are tricking old people, but for like adolescents. Life is actually just the period between getting tricked by prank videos as a kid and getting tricked by AI videos as an adult. And then you die.
You can let me out. You can let me out. I got the keys right here. What's good with this Corbin blue looking ass nigga, man?
Okay, put some respect in Corbin's name, first and foremost. Second of all, his hair's short now. But yes, I am keeping up with Corbin. I feel like if someone runs to you in like a prisoner jumpsuit, you're not like in a Disney sitcom. Your first response is not to like make a joke to the camera. Also, this is not important, but I saw a tweet that compared Jared McCain, the rookie for the 76ers, to a real-life Corbin Blue. I can't stop thinking about it. If you're an NBA fan, there you go. How do you know who Corbin Blue is and also upset that a man looks like him? Who is this mythical audience?
I'm about to hit 3 million. 3 million? I'm good to go, right?
See, if these are actually like Miami-Dade police, don't you have something better to be doing? I guess it's better this than like finding an excuse to pull someone over to hit quota, but like...
Help me! Help me, please!
It's a nice camera. Everything is well exposed. Color grading looks good. I have to give my flowers.
Don't tell anybody, bro.
He has a cold open for his prank videos. He wants to not be doing pranks so bad, dude. Let him act in something so he can be more productive with his time.
Help me, please, please. My key is in my... I need you to unlock me, please, please, please. Please. No, please, please.
Either it's fake or it's scripted. Don't do this like in the middle shit, because I don't want to feel like bad for the people who aren't in on the joke. I want to cringe when everybody's acting is terrible.
The key is in my shoe. It's in my shoe. Don't call 911, please.
Running at anyone will elicit that response in most circumstances. The problem is the speed. Maybe if you zested it up a little bit, everybody would be nicer. Okay, wait, content idea. You gotta do zesty prisoner prank. Picking up zesty prisoners. Wait, no, but not that. I start spraying water. Okie doke. I think that's enough of that. I've kind of said my piece. Obviously, this is bad.
Yo, is that a glitch? That's not that perk, is it? Let's call it moment. Shit. Oh shit. A second. Shit. Where is it?
Hardpoint active.
UAV RTB.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Okay. Get this thing. All right. You know what? I'll just wait. I'll wait until they're outside. Save it. There you go. There.
Bad. I believe we can do better. As a people, as a people online creating and consuming content, we should strive for more than rehashing decades-old tropes and centuries-old stereotypes. So that's about all I can stomach. But speaking of stomach, boy, am I hungry. I'm gonna take my first trip to the grocery store and buy a cucumber. I'll be vlogging my experience, so stay tuned for that. Until then, stay gold, everybody.
Hardpoint is secure.
Clean shot.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Speaking of karma and people who have done a lot of wrong but have consistently done it within the confines of legality, let's talk about the story. United Healthcare CEO gets murked by a hitman. Now, of course, I must urge you not to fed post in the chat, even though, holy everyone. Like, I think this is one of the first instances where I've ever seen so much universal support for something that is so criminal. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't know. We're living in interesting times. We're living in scary times. We're living in interesting times. Let's take a look at the story.
For the suspect who gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York City hotel. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, is at the hotel with the latest on the investigation. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Robin. 24 hours after this assassination.
Okay, what is Fed posting, though? Fed posting is when people just, like, get out of hand and say unhinged in the chat that might get them the attention of federal law enforcement. Also, oftentimes, it's federal law enforcement that writes stuff like that in online chats to agitate people so that they can pop them, coerce people. But some crazy stuff happened yesterday in New York City, and honestly, very interesting times that we live in. Let's take a look.
Style killing. The killer is at large, but he left behind a trail of clues here at the scene that may lead police to him and to a possible motive, suggesting anger with the insurance industry. This morning, a frantic manhunt for the man authorities spotted on this survey.
So this dude, big homie over here, okay, Mr. CEO, walking up to his hotel, okay, having a wonderful day. He's like, man, I can't wait to get a child with cancer, no coverage, so their family is saddled with medical debt. Just a regular old day for Mr. CEO. He's just like, walking over to my medical conference where I'm gonna go, hang out with a bunch of other CEOs, and we're gonna talk about how many claims we denied. That sort of I assume that's what's happening in the mind of a healthcare CEO on any given Sunday, right? Like, you got to be constantly thinking, like, man, $35 billion in pure profit this year. What a banger. Artificial intelligence to deny claims, 90% of which are actually wrong. What a fantastic invention. The medical innovation. Oh, my Lord. The amount of coverage that we can just deny because we made up some random AI thing. So sick. Like, that's probably what's going on in his mind, okay? I mean, he's up early. That's Sigma grind set. It's 6 a.m. Okay? He up early as hell thinking about all the ways in which he's going to ruin the lives of tens of thousands of Americans. Because if you're that rich and that's your job, why the f are you up at 6 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, why are you up 6 a.m.? Turns out this guy, he out-grind-setted the grind-set CEO. Turns out he's up at 6 a.m. This one is up at 4 a.m. Okay? There's always a guy out there working harder, working smarter. He was like, oh yeah, you're up at 6 a.m.? Guess what, dude? You're down at 6:30. Okay? That's what he said. Walks up to him, bloom, blap, bloom. Now, those weren't the sounds that came out of that gun, because you can see it's a very long barrel. And guess what? That's not a barrel. That is a silencer. Okay? That's right. Now, the interesting part about that is, no, this was not a fart. It was silent but deadly, but it was not a fart. Okay? It was a suppressor on his pistol. And most likely using was subsonic rounds as well. That's the speculation on why the bullet, why he had to constantly like rechamber after, what is that what's called? Like when your gun is jamming, basically. Which was really crazy because it looked like an open and shut, like professional case. And the reason why I say that is because he was so cool throughout this entire process. I don't mean cool like, oh my God, he's like swagged out. That's a totally separate conversation. I mean, like he was cool as he was cool as a cucumber. Like he was very calm throughout this process. He was very thorough. Now, people were saying that maybe it was because he wanted to get the casings after every shot, like collected, you know, professional hitman style, Sicario style. Turns out he wanted to leave the casings there, as a matter of fact, because he wrote stuff on the casing. He wrote stuff on the shells, which is wild. Okay. And when I first saw the story and I saw the media coverage over it, I thought it was very funny that people were like, yeah, this healthcare CEO got executed in broad daylight in the middle of a New York, in the middle of New York City. And the motive is unknown. And I was like, yeah, no, I think the motive is known. Like, it's one of those guys where I don't think this was a gay lover's quarrel, you know? I don't think this was like, oh, his ex-wife called out a hit on him. Like, it's, like, that would be a unique setting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, if you heard Vladimir Putin got assassinated, you wouldn't be like, I wonder what the motive is here. You know what I mean? Like, there's many motives in that situation, but like, you know, you feel me? Like, I doubt someone is doing that over the anger that they feel towards, I don't know, some kind of new tax that Vladimir Putin implemented, right? Yeah, a real Paul Pelosi gay lovers quarrel situation. So, interestingly enough, this happened.
Video shooting and killing Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare. Police said it was no
What's crazy is wearing a quarter zip in this profile picture. Like, it is such, at this point, it's such a meme. Like, these guys, they love their quarter zips, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing, dude? Why? You took a headshot. Well, no pun intended. And you were repping the quarter zip in the headshot, you know? What are we doing here? What's going on? Y'all don't got nothing else? You just got quarter zips?
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
The gun appears to have a silencer and jammed. When the shooter cleared it, police say he fired again.
From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly.
So that's a really interesting predicament, because on the one hand, I don't know enough about guns, at least like suppressors and subsonic rounds, but like,